it's Gretchen, and we are back again to walk Disney. We had so much fun doing it last time that I'm back again. Now, I'm all about balancing, like living a healthy lifestyle, but also having a lot of fun. And this race is just the perfect combination of both of those. Now, last time I flew there and I walked it, so there wasn't much downtime between training and race day. However, this time I'm with my family. We're in our RV and we're driving. We live in Texas. Obviously, the race is in Orlando because of the Disney World Marathon weekend. I'm doing the 10K. We are taking 3 days to get there. We could definitely do it in 2, but part of the reason that we're taking 3 days is because it allows me to be ready to do the race and not having just sat still in a car for 3 days. So I'm going to take you along with me and show you how I did it so that if you want to do the same thing, you can do that too. Today is the end of travel day 1. We did about 6 hours. We're staying just north of New Orleans. We live in College Station, Texas, so we're doing that drive today. We're staying on I guess we're on 12 because we're bumping up above 10. You don't need to know all that information, but we are staying here and we left early so that we got to New Orleans area when it was still light outside. And then what I did was I got out and I probably did about 15 minutes. My goal was 30, didn't quite get there, but I wanted to do it on pace. Now for the Walk Disney, I just look at what the minimum pace is. I have to keep 16-minute miles to not get swept from the course. So I did my watch, and I use my watch for pacing. You can do it however you want to calculate your pace. But I used my watch and I did 16-minute miles. Actually, I did probably a little bit faster. I'll give you a screenshot. And then settled in for the day. We're making dinner right now, but I feel good. And it's allowing me to keep my body used to walking and my blood flowing and ready. Hopefully, we'll see. You'll come along with me. We'll test it together. If I'm ready to do the race on race day after traveling in a car. So I'll catch you on day 2. Hello from day 2. We are at a state park in Florida, Three Rivers State Park, I believe. And I did about the same thing after almost the same amount of traveling. That today was about 5.5 hours on the map. It took a lot longer with the RV. Of course, it always does. But I got out and I did a pace walk. I actually did a little faster on the first mile. And then I went out on some trails. So I went for longer, but I slowed down. I even broke in some new hiking boots. I don't know if you can see them, but there they are. It's probably a really lovely view, but there you go, hiking boots. So here's a big takeaway from today. If you're driving this, don't do that thing where you like try not to drink too much water so you don't have to stop and pee, because I tended to do that yesterday and I woke up a little bit dehydrated this morning. So I drank more, we stopped more, but I think it was worth it, or I think it will be worth it in the long run. So we're off day 3 tomorrow, and I'll see you in Orlando at Fort Wilderness. I've never stayed there either. We've definitely never taken the RV, so this is just going to be all kinds of fun. Okay, we are up super early. It's our last morning driving, and we're going to try, we're staying at Fort Wilderness, obviously, with an RV, but we're going to try our hardest to check in early and see if we can pull that off. We heard rumor you could, so we'll find out. Well, we made it to Fort Wilderness, and this is my first time staying here. So far, I really like it. It feels a little more laid back, you know? I don't know, I'll keep you posted as we go, but we got a great site. We talked to the lady about what we wanted, what we didn't want, kind of away from crowds of people walking back and forth, so not near what they call a comfort station, which is like laundry and stuff. And we also didn't want it right by the bus because they're kind of loud. So we love our site, and we just grabbed something to eat because we're starving. It was just hamburger, kind of normal food, nothing fancy. And then we're about to head to the expo. So I'll let you know how that goes. Okay, if you saw my last video about can you walk the Disney runs doing the 10K, we're back for another one, and we are back at the expo. It's still at ESPN World of Sports. And you can see this time, last time was Princess Marathon. This time it's the marathon weekend. Still doing the 10K. This time I'll show you a little bit more about what's going on inside so that, you know, if you decide to do this, it's not going to be as terribly confusing. But signs everywhere, buses everywhere. There's approximate times of what's happening. Okay, this is not for me because I'm not doing the marathon, but these things, I'll show you one of them, are so cute. You can stand in front of them, get your picture made in front of what is your medal's going to look like. It's just really cute. They have the marathon, the half marathon, 10K, and then probably 5Ks on the other side of this beautiful thing. Yeah. There's your 5K. I better catch up with my family somewhere up here. And here's another big thing is you will get an email to sign your digital waiver ahead of time. Do it. It saves you time. You enter right here. And there's my family. They came with me to the expo, which you can do. You can bring your family with you to the expo. You know, obviously they won't be running the race with you, but you can bring them. And it's kind of fun. Like, we're not going to park today, so I will say, though, I had them on the bus. It was a lot with 2 kids on the bus who were all hyped up because they've been in the car for 2 days. But overall, not too bad. Another thing, if you don't have to get here on the first day, like, I'm doing a park tomorrow, so I don't want to stop in the middle of a park day to pick up my packet, but my 10K is the second run. Everyone that's doing the 5K or the Dopey Challenge, which is 5K, 10K, half, and full marathon, are picking up their packets today, so it's crazy crowded. Like, we even have to join a virtual queue to pick up any additional merch. Like, they have a lot of cute stuff, but I'm not getting any. But if you wanted something like that, join a virtual queue on the first day. And it's a lot. It's really crowded. So if you're not a crowd person, there's a lot of energy, a lot of really good energy. But if you're not a crowd person, then you probably want to do it not on the first day, if at all possible. This is what we're looking for, race big pick up. Sorry, it's on the left as you're walking up that long walk to the arenas. Then you'll come in here, and this is why you need to sign your digital waiver, because that's one of the first things that you're going to be asked as you walk in. So here's just a quick idea of what happens in here. You look for your race, and you pick up your packet for your race. Make sure that you bring your photo ID and that you sign the digital waiver. And then one thing that's kind of cool is they do have, you're going to see right here, photo pass availability during the race and for some of these shots ahead of time. So if you purchase photo pass, then you'll have it for your race too. So that's pretty cool. I'm doing that for the first time this time. Okay, we made it through. And a couple little tidbits. Let me just scoot to the side here and just give you a little bit of information. Something that you might want to consider knowing is, you need to know your race bib number. So after you pick up your, before you go to pick up your bib, you have to be organized by race number. There's a couple ways to do it. They send it to you when they send you your expo ticket. So don't forget to check your email. And then I have an iPhone, so I saved my ticket in my Apple Wallet. And you click info on there, so it's not going to come up. It's just going to say like whatever race. But if you look at the bottom, for me, bottom right, it can be somewhere else. But the info button, if you click it, it gives you your bib number. And so that is how you are going to pick up your actual bib. Then when you pick up your bib, you're not going to get this whole thing yet. That's all my shirt and everything. You're going to go to the expo, to the very back. Yes, you have to walk by like all the things. And it's either going to be on the left or right, depending on your race. You're going to pick up your shirt and all of that stuff. And that's also where you can buy, I didn't this time, but I like to buy socks there. I don't know, they always have the really good socks. I love my feet, so there you go. But yeah, so that's kind of the rundown of this. And then you go right back to where your bus dropped you off, and you get back on the bus, and you're done. That's all you have to do to pick up your packet. And next step is getting on the bus in the morning. Well, I guess that's a wrap on day 3 of travel. We traveled about 4.5 hours, so not too long. It was great. We did get to the resort early, and they let us go right to our site about an hour and a half early, which was awesome. Check-in's at 3. We got here about 1:30. From rumor on the street, by street I mean YouTube videos, you can come here a little bit earlier than normal, and they're more likely to have a place for you to go versus some of the hotels. What did we do? We did expo check-in. We went and ate. And that's really about it. After setting up the RV, we walked a lot. I didn't necessarily do the pace walk, but my body was moving plenty. So that kind of wraps up the travel piece. Now, something different that I'm doing this time I did last time is we are doing a park day, then I'm doing my race. So tomorrow we're going to Animal Kingdom, probably like the park you can get away with spending the least amount of time in, just so that we have more time to rest if we need it. I will say, I love Fort Wilderness so far, and the girls are just dying to go to the campfire tomorrow night. We walked by it tonight. My youngest threw some horseshoes with Chip and Dale, and they want to go back and watch movies and do the campfire, so that could be fun tomorrow night. And then race day. So I'll let you know how it goes. All right, I'm back after what you can tell is a park day. We went to Animal Kingdom, which is one of the earliest opening parks and earliest closing parks, just because we knew we weren't going to spend a full day at the park, like rope drop to close. That was not ever in our plans. We did get there pretty early, which also the cool thing about staying at Fort Wilderness is that we have our car and we automatically get parking. We actually paid to upgrade our parking to preferred parking, but you only pay the difference. So for example, parking your vehicle is like $35, I think, for just general parking. And then the next level up is $55. So we paid, I guess, $20 for the difference. I could be wrong. I think it might have been 30 and 55, so $25. But either way, with kids, that was great because we stayed until about 3 p.m. really just to get that last lightning lane and let them meet Mickey and Minnie because they were already ready to go and take a break. But we left and could go straight to our car. We had to run some errands and the girls could just chill in the back seat. We came back to Fort Wilderness and we are just kind of having some downtime. And now it's time to eat dinner and then also lay out everything for the race. So if I've never talked to you about this before, if you don't know a lot of people that have raced, or if you haven't raced before, this is huge. I've done a ton of races in my day. I've done multiple half marathons. I've done a lot of triathlons. I was a triathlete for quite a while. And the biggest helpful thing that I've ever done is lay everything out the night before. Number one, I won't forget anything. And number two is I don't have to get up quite as early. Like and you should do this, I even pin the bib onto the shirt that I'm wearing. So take that for what it's worth, but I highly recommend that. That's not just specific to walking. That's any race you ever do. Here's something else, I guess number two, which kind of like poop. So number two as well. We're at a huge resort and the run bus is at the entrance, which is about a 30-minute walk. I might be able to walk it faster. I was with kids last time I was doing it. And that's a pretty big distance. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to factor that in. I thought about a couple different options. I thought about, I'm not going to take the car up there. I thought about maybe riding my bike, but it's dark out and I didn't bring any headlamps. And then the best bet would be if I had a golf cart. That would be the best. But I'm going to look at it like a warm up. You guys, this is not like the reason that I do these Run Disney races the way that I do them is so that they are fun. Like I'm all about that balance. You've got to have fun and you've got to find ways to like challenge yourself and to keep yourself moving as the years go by. And this is one of the ways that I do it. So I'm not going to be pushing myself at my utmost limit in the race. So I think a walking warm up isn't going to be a bad idea. I say that. I will get back to you after it happens. So let's get set up for race day. Okay, it is like 3 o'clock in the morning and I just saw the inter-resort bus pick up at the stop, like super close to where we are camped, well, in our RV. And that means I should be able to take this bus up to the front, which I calculated yesterday, and we are like 1.2 miles away from the front. So that was gonna be a hike. But it looks like I can take the bus to the front and then catch the Run Disney bus. So that's my new plan. I do need like some kind of cutoff point how I'm willing to wait, but I don't think it's gonna be a problem. But yeah, so I've got my outfit on. I went long sleeves this time. I don't know if you saw the last video. It was like 1 month later, maybe a little bit more than 1 month later. But it was not cold, this cold in the morning. It's pretty cold here in the morning right now, but not intolerable, with long sleeves. And then I have my lower half. You can see I have socks and shorts. So I do have some openness on the leg, but not like terrible. So there you go. Let's see how this goes. Oh, we're here, and we made it, and it's gonna be a good run, and it's early in the morning, and there's more to come.
Doing it all. So the inclusivity, as they said, guys, if you have a friend out there that thinks they can't do this, there is a way to make sure everybody can.
Okay, friends, I've had a couple days since the race. We enjoyed a couple park days, and the whole time I've been ruminating on what am I going to say that you can learn from that I haven't already said. So if you haven't caught the first video about how you can just walk a Disney race, just kind of the basics, is this possible, go back and watch my first video. There's lots of really, really good tips and tricks in there. And one of the things that I recommended is to get to the very front of the corral. Like, no matter what corral you're in, again, if you're putting in your walk times, you're probably going to be in the last corral, unless maybe you are part of Run Disney, which, by the way, if you are part of Run Disney, you get upgraded corral placement. I'm not here to put any judgment on that or talk about the safety of it, but that's just the truth. So no matter what corral you're in, get to the front of it and stay to the front. It actually really doesn't matter which side, because I went to the pretty much the front of my corral this time. And by the time you've done the little weave, so once you leave your corral, you have to weave first to the like a big left turn and then a big right turn to get back to the start. Everyone in the corral is kind of, you know, herded that way. So it doesn't really matter which side, just make sure you're toward the front so that you get off in the beginning wave of your corral. So let's talk about what that's actually like now that I've taken my own advice. So I was in a different kind of a group of people. I wasn't with the people hanging back in the corrals, because no matter which corral you're in, the people toward the back are the people that are not considering themselves like the fastest in that corral. And as walkers or run walkers, whatever you're doing, we have a tendency to put ourselves in that category just out of sheer embarrassment maybe. But let me tell you, there are still going to be plenty of people ahead of you walking. Plenty of people. This time I noticed a couple different things. Number one, starting with at the beginning of my corral was great. I didn't feel threatened by getting swept from the course at any time. I also, though, was kind of in the mix of people booking it toward the beginning, meaning like there were quite a few more runners. There weren't people pulling to the side and walking immediately. There was not that. So here's my recommendation. You need to be prepared to at least race walk, which is different than power walking. And if you have a question about that, I can do a whole video about, power walking versus race walking. I've actually taught multiple courses on that at a collegiate level, which sounds weird, but I have taught race walking. So I do have some recommendations there. If you want to know how to do that, please just let me know in the comments and I'll definitely do a video on that. But you have to be prepared to either race walk or run in a couple of different places on this, because you cannot just walk across the start line. If you're in the middle, you can probably get to the side and immediately pull off even more to the side once you get out of the starting line. But toward the beginning of the crowd, people are going to want to run. That's just what I have learned. And I actually ended up running a little bit more on this race than I thought I would. First of all, I felt pretty good. The temperature was lower. I started earlier. It was great. So I felt pretty good, and it was easy for me to pick up the pace to pass groups of people. So that put my actual final time per mile, my pace per mile, which included some of that little running, was like 14:45. So that tells you any kind of idea about how much I ran. It wasn't a lot. You've seen my pace for like a walk that pushes it. So it was a little bit faster. So that just tells you a little bit about what it looks like. You're going to feel a little bit more of that energy, of that run energy being toward the beginning of a group. That might not be a bad thing for some of you. But if you are definitely like a strict, I will not run, you need to practice race walking. You really should learn how to race walk. The people that typically are walking are not race walking. I didn't see one person race walking. Not one person. Everyone was either slow walking, power walking, or slow running or fast running, right? There wasn't in between. And a lot of that reason, so here's something that I paid attention to more this time, was because of Jeff Galloway's methodology. Now, this is a running coach. And actually when I taught a running class in college. What's so weird. So when we used his book, actually, he's a running coach. He's really well known, and he's kind of the Disney coach, right? Like, he's the one that the Disney people recommend, all the people who are doing Run Disney, that you'll see it everywhere. All of his books are for sale at the expo. So Jeff Galloway is a big name here. And one of the things that he teaches is run walk, right? So we're not necessarily going to run the full marathon. We're going to run walk it, which I think is kind of cool for people like us who value walking. But his walking is power walking. He does not teach how to race walk. And some people even go down from that and their walking is like a rest. And I also know that that's not necessarily what he's trying to get them to do, but that's okay. So you'll see people in clumps. I noticed this a lot more this race, holding up fingers like 1 and 2, like the person in front will, and that means run or walk. And you'll start to notice they'll like hold this up and scoot to the side, or this, I don't remember which one they call running and walking, and move to the side and start walking. So technically, could you throw yourself in a little group that does that? For sure. You could just kind of accidentally be with them the whole race and learn their methodology. But I tell you that to be prepared for constant changes of pace. To be honest, that was the most annoying thing about starting with a faster group, was that constant change of pace. I literally felt like I was weaving in and out of people, or having people weave around me for the entire 6 miles. Big open spaces, not a problem. But the more narrow spaces could have been frustrating had I not taken my own advice and stayed toward the right. You'll even see people passing on the right, which is not really recommended, but when you get into these narrow pathways and there's this whole group of people trying to run together, you'll see that. So my best bet for you as a walker is, if you get in that situation, just slow down with the walkers until it opens up. It's going to provide you with a lot more confidence and ability to speed up when you absolutely have to. Or if you're one of those people that likes to run across the finish line, or you want to be running when PhotoPass takes a picture of you, you're going to be able to do that a lot better if you slow down in those sections. Let's talk PhotoPass. So that was the big takeaway. Let's talk PhotoPass though. So you get pictures taken of you while you're running. I do not take good pictures during athletic events. And I'm not saying this to be self-deprecating. I'm saying this to be a fact, because I've been an athlete for a long time and I have yet to find a good picture of myself. So there are PhotoPass people, and they're in these like green little tent type things on either side of the race course. You might not see them all, but if you keep your eyes up and you're like looking ahead, if you see them, start smiling, maybe put a little pep in your step. You can even raise your arms up. I know a lot of people who jump, make sure there's not a lot of people around you. They really say don't do that if there's gonna be people around you, but you could get some really, really cool pictures of the race if you want to. And it's identified with your bib number that you're wearing. So let's do a quick recap. What did we learn second time around? Number one, and this might not be new, sign your waiver when you get it. Hold on to your expo pass when you get it. You're gonna be emailed those two things. Your waiver, expo pass, sign your waiver. Make sure you are prepared with your bib number when you come to pick up your packet, and you're given that in your expo ticket little thing. I add mine to my Apple Wallet. I hit the info button and it comes up. And when you start the race, still get there early. When you start the race, then make sure that you're prepared to kind of push a little bit. So maybe do some trainings where you practice pushing a little bit. My question for you is, does anyone want some kind of training video or want to know where to get some personalized training? Just a whole spreadsheet that's just for you, right? Like, here's what you do on this day and that day. I say spreadsheet because that's how I make mine, but it could be a PDF. Who really cares? So anyway, if you want anything like that, if that's interesting to you, if you're wanting to do a Disney race, you just need more info, or you want to work with me with that, I'm glad to do that. Just drop whatever you're wanting into the comments, and make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, and I think for the big like and subscribe, I'm going to turn it over to what my cousin said at like 3 a.m.
Here, all of us actually met people. I don't know them, but they're really friendly.
Gretchen!
He knows my name already.
Subscribe, she's the best YouTuber.
Well, he's right.
Like, subscribe, hit the notification button.